Welcome into Inside Tiger Football. Last time we had Coach Hill in front of us, it was spring football. Well, now week one has already passed, and once again, Coach Travis Hill sits across from me here at the studio. Coach Hill, first question I got to ask you is, how are you feeling after week one?
It's a lot better. You know, you put a lot of pressure on yourself, anxiety. It's game one. You want to win. You want to do things right. You want to see where the team stands. And, you know, even since being here since January, you're going to say, Coach, you're not a good enough coach to know where you stand between January and your first game. You don't know it until you play a football game. So it was good to get that over with and obviously come out on the right end of it. So feel great, to be honest with you. Feel very good about it.
Yeah, always got to be happy with a win. But one thing that I noticed that we had talked about in previous conversations, and one thing that I know you're going to have to focus on this year is you're used to winning. You've won a lot of regular season ball games in your coaching career. This team, there's a lot of guys who have not seen winning seasons here at Broken Arrow. How do you coach winning? How do you get those guys comfortable with winning?
There's probably a variety of ways, okay? The only way I know personally is demand it, okay? And you know, I don't, the kumbaya way just doesn't work for me. So it's demanding every day based on the challenges that come, and there's frustrations from a coaching standpoint. I'm sure from a player standpoint at times when you process that. But if you keep on demanding it and keep on expecting excellence, you're going to have an opportunity to get that. I believe if you don't, then you know you're always leaving loopholes or open windows where that doesn't prosper. And we're just hoping that we continue to do that in a basis on every day from a coaching standpoint, and hopefully our kids continue to buy into that. And like I said, if you'll take care of all the little things, big things, which are the wins, that they will take care of themselves.
Most coaches will say you let them celebrate that night, and then the next day is you turn the page, right? Is that kind of how it went for you?
A lot of truth to that. I really believe, like I said, I give our kids, they have the option to come in on Saturday, but I give our kids off. It's an option, so they can also come in on Sunday. And so I do that so that, you know, we get the opportunity to celebrate a little bit longer, sleep in. There's 1,000 ways to celebrate. But, you know, we do want to put that behind us after we watch the film and learn from it, because you got to look in the rearview mirror to keep track of a few things and learn from it. But once that's done, we definitely turn the rearview mirror off all the way until we get going again this week and look straight ahead, obviously going over to Fayetteville this week.
So with everything in the rearview now, what's the message been at practice this week?
Yeah, you know, it was tough practice week because we started off on Labor Day. And I think most of our kids were kind of upset that Labor Day means that you're supposed to take a break and not have to work. And so we didn't have the best of practices that day. We turned around, and that's, come on now, as a coach and as just a general human being, you understand some of that. They half of them, you know, 1 o'clock practice, probably slept until 11 and everything else. So we turned around yesterday and got their attention, or they got each other's attention, and we had a lot better practice. So it's all about prep, Dylan. It's full bore about preparing yourself to go win a football game. Go do the very best you can. And that's all done Monday through Thursday as far as the effort and the understanding of what the other team's trying to do, and more important, what we're trying to do.
We're going to break down some offense and some defense coming up, but I want to ask you a couple of just general questions on how you felt they did against Springdale Har-Ber. When we had talked last week, you had said that you felt the defense was all in the right spot now. It's just getting them to go and do it correctly on game time, right, when it gets to game day.
Right.
So do you still feel that way? Do you feel like you've got all the pieces in the right place?
We are, and with having them all in the right place, but that was their first live endeavor. So, you know, we're still learning too, from a staff standpoint, much less a player standpoint. But I do feel like there's no changes, major changes, that, we need to do this. We found some weaknesses. We went in very plain vanilla. So there was a few adjustments that we didn't do well. So we learned a couple of things. Real simple is tempo hurts us because, and we corrected that. It was a coaching thing, not a player thing. Now we got to see how they respond now that we've corrected.
Right.
And we'll get that tempo, by the way, this week. And number two is our adjustments. Defenses have to make adjustments based on what the game plan is for the other team, because they're not going to come out typically and do exactly what they've done every day. They're going to look at what you do and make adjustments themselves. So those were a couple of things that we were disappointed in. I think more as a coaching standpoint, as a player standpoint, but now that we got that corrected and the package has been opened up, so all the adjustments are available now. It'll be interesting to see now how our kids respond in those two areas on the defense. But we feel very good about it. We stuffed the run. There was 244 yards of offense. If we could say we had 14 points, if you could say we'd do that every week, I'd probably say right now, let's lay the money down, let's take it.
Yes, sir.
So it's good effort, good effort.
Offensively, 35 points on that side of the scoreboard. One fumble, so there's a little bit of a hiccup, but otherwise, are you pretty pleased with how that side did?
Very pleased. Lots of situational football, fourth downs that that we converted and everything, third downs. We did not punt the football all night long. So again, if you could put that on the table and say that's going to be the deal, we would take it. So besides the one turnover and probably a few mistakes, and you got to give Har-Ber a little credit for this because that band was loud. The environment was loud. I've been in so many big environments. Thank goodness, as a coach of state championships and anything, but I don't remember anyone being any louder than what we just had on Friday night. It was, so it was hard, but a few mistakes as far as, offsides, just little things that we make you play behind the chains. But besides that, I think offensively we made great plays. Quarterback played an outstanding game, and we definitely were very, very efficient with the football.
Well, this wouldn't be Inside Tiger Football if we don't get into the weeds here in just a few moments. We're going to break down the offense when we come back here on Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.
While you are teaching someone special the nuances of keeping the wheel steady, we can provide you means for you to maintain financial equilibrium. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. First people put people first.
All in all, there's not a better place to work.
Working at St. Francis is...
Working at St. Francis is...
Working at St. Francis is...
It's very fulfilling.
The work that we do is hard. The work that we do changes people's lives.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job. It's a calling.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. Dylan Rivera alongside Coach Travis Hill. Beat Springdale Har-Ber on Friday, 35-14. But that 35, that's what I want to focus in on now.
Okay.
Let's talk some offense. The offensive line. Coach Mo talked about in the Big Biscuit Blitz, our freshman head coach, our Aerovision color commentator.
Absolutely.
He said the offensive line was a key this week. You said in your 100 yards that the offensive line was something that could be a strength for this team this year. How do you feel they performed in week one?
They did really well. We rotated 7 kids. We did it intentionally to keep fresh, but also to make sure that people understand that jobs are at stake. Let's go to work. They did a great. Their piece of work was good. It was good enough that it forced the other team. We talked earlier about adjustments to make some adjustments, which now opened up our 292 yards worth of passing. So they did a great job. Their number one thing and what they should like to do is run the football. We call it white knuckles and get after it. And we forced the team. They couldn't stop us rushing the football and forced them to now make adjustments that hurt them elsewhere. So I think the offensive line did that, absolutely. Without them being superior in that area and dominating and being physical, that those things wouldn't have happened. And we may not have been as successful as we were.
Another key with the offensive line is making sure that Jeremiah Satimba comes home with a clean jersey, and there was 0 sacks allowed, so you've got to be pretty pleased with that as well.
Absolutely, and we're probably getting ready to get some questions about Jeremiah because he had an outstanding game, but I think I know that Jeremiah and our whole offensive understand that skill kids that we're only as good as those guys up front as far as protection and giving the opportunity for time and everything else. So, no, he came home with a great game, and a lot of that had to do with our offensive line performing well.
Yeah, absolutely. He had 291 yards and 3 touchdowns, had only 5 incompletions. So you got to be pretty pleased with Jeremiah Satimba. I know you ended up naming him your offensive MVP, and that means a lot to him, I'm sure.
That's Jeremiah's question there, but I would think so. I know that he worked hard for this, okay? So, you got a guy that in the quarterback stats that threw for 290, I forget the exact, but well over 70%. No interceptions. You can add on the rushing yards that he had with that, which I'm assuming I've just been throwing 70, 60, something like that.
73, 70 yards, yeah.
Okay, something in that category. And so, yeah, an outstanding game from your quarterback. Your guy that has to take care of the football, has to get to the right places, make the right decisions, and made some great plays that where he had to improvise. And so, when you got a quarterback that can do that, again, what a great game and a great start for Jeremiah Satimba.
He named that in the preseason in a conversation I had with him as one of his strengths, his improvisation skills. Yeah. And I love when he uses his legs. I don't know how you feel about it, if you feel a little scared when he takes off or you feel completely confident.
You guys all know that I'm a defensive background. And one of the hardest things to defend is a versatile quarterback that can make plays. You got everything defended, but he takes off or makes a play with his legs. So no, I love it, and I want, like I said, decision making. You got to make the proper decision at the right time, and he's doing that. He's got a level head. He's got experience. He's coming back. He earned that. Nothing was given to him. I think that made him a better quarterback. I hope it did. That was the intentions, and so no, I take off when it's proper, Jeremiah. Anytime in my books, yes, and that all that does is irritate the defensive coordinator on the other side.
Yeah,
so, good
absolutely.
Stuff. Good stuff.
I want to flip things over to the backfield mate of Jeremiah Satimba, and that's the tailbacks, right?
Yep.
Octavian Roberson, Corey Sango, your two running backs. Coming into this, we figured probably an even split, but Corey Sango got 18 carries to Octavian Roberson's 5. Is that something that can change week to week, or is that how it's going to be?
Week by week deal. You have to have two backs. I don't care what level. You really need 3 or 4, to be honest with you. Okay, it's 11 people trying to hurt you every play. So you need to have that, and we have 2 different style of runners there. That's always good too. So it'll be a week by week deal. There's nothing there that was wrong or right. It's who's the hot hand, who that style of running is helping us the best this week, whatever it may be. Injury, right. There's 1,000 things that can happen, but no, it'll be. You never know how that's going to work and affect itself, because we really do. We don't. If you look on the deal, I think Jay put Corey Sango or Octavian Roberson or vice versa. So there's no starter. There's equal ability there, equal opportunity, depending on how the game goes.
I'll ask you, how'd you feel about how Corey Sango and Octavian Roberson handled the
load? Really good. I mean, like I said, we didn't rush the football for any outstanding numbers the other night, but what I said, and the reason why we didn't, because we forced their hand. If they would have left their defense alone, we would have had 250, 300 yards rushing, okay? They didn't do that. That opened up other avenues, and so I thought we rushed the football very efficiently when we needed to be. And, when we needed that short yardage, we were able to get it. So I feel very good about it.
Well, every game we name a difference maker of the game, and for Week 1, our difference maker of the game was Peyton Lang, wide receiver, 5 catches, 162 yards, or 148 yards, 2 touchdowns. We mentioned that there was a turnover. It was Peyton Lang that ended up fumbling the football, but he had a great game overall, and you've got to be pleased with his performance as well.
Yeah, like I said, that was the door they left open, and so Peyton doesn't make those plays. It's team. Everything falls off of something else, and so Peyton was able to take advantage of them, basically trying to stop the run, and so that door was open, and Jeremiah and him connected up on several big plays. And we do I can give Peyton Lang a hard time right now. I think he got tracked down on one of those. I think so there how you doing, Peyton? I love you. And the fumble, and Peyton said you don't really have to coach Peyton. Peyton coaches himself, man. He's and I say that in a different, he knows and he understands the mistakes he made, and he'll be fine. But isn't it real rewarding that the big plays he made, and the second time he caught that deep ball, he did not get caught.
Nope.
He did not. Because he knew Coach Hill was going to be there the second time. So it was fun to watch him, and a young man that, like I said, an outstanding student, outstanding person off the field, outstanding citizen, and to go on the field and turn into that football player, that mentality that he got, it's fun to watch.
I'm glad you touched on that long touchdown that he had there, that 60-yard touchdown reception. That came late in the third,
right.
And it was a one-score ball game. How big was that touchdown for your momentum?
Well, it's huge because, we go in, I'm a big deal that, hey, find a way to 3-possession a game, and I'm a really good coach, okay? And so, we were looking for that. We came out the second half, and they scored, and made it 14-7. And so, you're back to the 1 possession, much less 3. So to get back in that arena, way he did that quickly and effective, to answer the call, to get back up 2 possessions, I think that was kind of the knife in. And then, when we got the 3rd possession and was able to get that, then, not great terms here, but we gutted them. We knew we was in a position we were going to win the football game.
Yeah.
So it was a big play at the right time.
Yeah. Well, earlier we were able to catch up with Peyton Lang at practice and a great conversation with him about his Week 1 performance.
Madison Dildine joined by junior receiver Peyton Lang. Peyton, talk to me about what you think the main takeaways from the win at Har-Ber are.
I'll say it comes together as a team. I say we did a pretty good job of that. By looking at practice, we was kind of like struggling with that, but right when we got to the game, like all things like came together and stuff. We did pretty good. So yeah.
How do you think that this win will help propel you guys for the rest of the season?
I'll say one word that's sticking out is like statement. We made a big statement coming to this game. A lot of eyes were on us, and I feel like we live up to that hype.
What's something that you're proud of from Friday night, either personally or as a team?
I'll say from a personal standpoint, I really did shock myself. You know, the playbook was for me in a way, but I feel like I did way higher than what I expected, than what I've done. Almost scored 3, should have been 3, but I'll take 2. Over almost 150 yards, so I shocked myself. I did pretty good. Yeah.
That was junior receiver Peyton Lang, your difference maker of the game.
When Inside Tiger Football rolls on, presented by Rib Crib, we're going to talk some defense with head coach Travis Hill, so you don't want to go anywhere.
Start your day refreshed with a delicious breakfast sandwich deal from Quick Trip. Choose from classics like the sausage, egg, and cheese croissant, the ham, egg, and cheese biscuit, or the melty bacon, egg, and cheese grilled cheese. And get ready to really wake up because it comes with
any small Red Bull of your choice, all for $5. Woo! Let's go! That's any breakfast sandwich plus a Red Bull for just $5. Yeah! QT, more than a gas station.
Bud's ready, because we're bringing all the drip and none of the drama with our new sauced and tossed Tender Bites. They're juicy, crispy, and sauced like a boss. Bite into your new obsession. Only at Slim Chickens.
Joint, Northeast Oklahoma's sports medicine experts. We are pleased to help you and the athletes in your life with a number of surgical and non-surgical options. Tulsa Bone and Joint is proud to serve as team orthopedist for local high schools such as Broken Arrow, Owasso, Sapulpa, Cascia Hall, and Bishop Kelly. Tulsa Bone and Joint, moving life forward.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. Dylan Rivera here alongside head coach Travis Hill. Flipping over to your land, right? Defense, that's where you like to be. First thing I want to talk about with defense is what we just talked about to end that offensive segment. It was a one-score game with 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
Right.
And the defense has to respond just as much as the offense does. How do you feel they handled that final quarter of play?
You know, like I said, that's when the adjustments had to come that we were making. They found a hole in the defense that they were picking at, and the tempo game they realized was to their advantage, and it kept us on our heels a little bit. So I love the way our defense responded. Like I said, from me and coaching, I don't think I could give that a very good grade out here, but I love the way the defense, they come up with some stops, made some plays. And you got to give Har-Ber credit. The one touchdown they had that was a play made by their quarterback, who's a very, very, very talented individual. Horrible names from the other team, but
Bryce Owens, I got you.
Number 7.
Yes, sir. You knew the number.
Threw to number 5 and made a big play. So, you know, that kept them in the game. And so I was really happy the way we responded and shut them down after that and made the plays that were necessary to, like I said, you can't get possessions ahead or move ahead in the game. Just by scoring, you got to make stops too, and so when we were able to do that at the important times of the game, it felt good. We don't like giving up 14 points and a half, but you know we did, and we learned from it. We got better.
Just based off of that answer and having started to get to really know you better, I think I know your answer to this next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Gotcha. Let's see here.
You went scoreless, or they went scoreless. You held them scoreless. 3 out of the 4 quarters. Is that something you're pleased with, or is that something that even though you gave up 2 touchdowns in that third, that you're not too happy about?
Very pleased with. I mean, you know, if you're going to play, you know, break them down in quarters, you know, 4, okay, see how intelligent I am, you know, and you're 3 out of 4, you know, that's not bad. That's a winning situation. But, you know, we need to make sure that we don't have, like I said, they got us on our heels a little bit. You know, we were able to come off that, but at the same time, we need to be able to respond a little bit better. And those all came at a time where they made their adjustments at half, and we didn't do a good job. We being coaches, we have players that communicate about adjustments, but they don't quite get that opportunity to come in and tell us what they're going to do. we go through the process, and so great job on Har-Ber's behalf, but a great job on our kids' behalf of being resilient and stopping. When you get a little cut, let's stop the bleeding. If you're digging a hole, stop digging. And I think our kids did a great job of that, and come back and put the clamps on. Did a great job. So yes, we'll take it, Dylan, no doubt about it. Do we want more? Heck yeah, we want more. Yeah, we want probably what's unrealistic. We want zeros every time we walk, and we don't want anything under 100 over 100 yards with the offense. Well, but we're going to definitely work toward that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, offensively, they kept everything pretty short, it felt like. It was a lot of quick screens. It was a lot of running the football or just short passes. How did you guys try to combat that throughout the game and keep them in front of you?
Yeah, it's just the old motto is don't let nobody behind you, obviously from a defensive back standpoint. And the only time they did was on a great play from the quarterback who bought more time and was able to find somebody down there. We just, we had a good idea. We got an opportunity to scout and see them in person when they came over and scrimmaged over at Union. I really enjoy that because you really get to see, not schematics, you get to see some individuals in person. Film can be a little deceiving, and you don't get to see how they handle themselves on the sideline and on the field and all those little things. So we kind of had a good clue on what they're going to do, and then we knew that their quarterback was their catalyst. So everything was centered around stopping him and what he does well. So that's what we went after, and like I said, as a whole, I think we did a good job with that.
You're able to get one sack from Gabe Manning. It was a big sack, but is that something you want to see improve? Is that number of sacks?
Yeah, absolutely. Pressure on it's called cutting the head of the snake off, so to speak. But pressure on a quarterback's huge. Pressure on that situation. In other words, dictating the situations. What we want to do as defense, we don't want them dictating. And when we didn't have success the other night, which, like I told you, we were on our heels, not them, and that caused some problems. So we do got to get after the quarterback a little bit better. Those are going to be some very difficult things to do coming here in the future because of the type of quarterbacks we have that we're going to play against. But that's probably a conversation later on down the line right now. But the other day, we knew that quarterback, but we knew we had to be smart how we approached getting after him because he was agile, very athletic, and like I said, those centered their offense around that kid week in and week out.
I imagine you've got to be pretty happy with your linebackers. They all finished with double-digit tackles, including Malik Ross, who led the team with 14. We talked about him in the pregame as a group that really is going to decide a lot with this defense. Would you say that you came away from that game very happy with how they played?
Absolutely. I mean, Nate Jackson, Malik Ross, like I said, in the middle, and Colton Barlow, I think they fit really what we do in our, in our even scheme, in our 4-3 scheme. And, that we can really mix and match those guys with what responsibilities, and I'm really comfortable with it. So I think they're going to get more and more dynamic. You got a new young man in Nate that come from I think 2A, 3A class football. So, the speed of the game and everything, he's made the adjustments. Physical football player, 230-pound kid playing linebacker for it. It's the biggest linebacker I've ever had in high school. Malik Ross is dynamic and growing up every day, what he does in the middle. And Curtin Barlow, our little wrestler, and our little Willie linebacker, which is nothing more than a DB moved down in that arena that's physical and gets after it. So you can tell, we kind of got what we want there. We can stay healthy there. They'll continue to grow and prosper with what we're trying to do.
I think one thing that you've always got to talk about with this team is the defensive backs and the guys you have in that room, whether it be the safeties or the cornerbacks. You feel like they performed pretty well this past week?
They did. We had a few mental breakdowns, but again, I'm going to throw that on the coaches. When I say mental breakdowns, adjustments are hard whenever you don't practice them, or at least go. It's coach, that's Plan B. That's kind of the Plan B, Plan C concepts. And if you don't work them any more diligently than what we worked them last week, coaching our players, then sometimes we didn't make as good adjustments there. But as a whole, I think our kids were in place. They did well. It's fun to watch, Samaj Stanford come from 20 yards deep and make a play at 2 yards from the line of scrimmage. You're just going, what just happened? But Noah Gillespie has incredible cover skills and doing a great job. We just need confidence. Come on, Noah. Let's move forward. And BB Bryson Brown has moved in from the corner position to the safety position. And so multiple for us, but there's a learning curve still taking place there. And Coach Gordon and Coach Craver are working their tail off to give him all the ammo he needs. And he's finding out, wow, safety is it's the quarterback BB of the defense. So you and Samaj and so that's different. Corners get told what to do. Safeties tell everybody else what to do.
Yep.
So the learning curve is still taking place, but he did a lot of good things, made some big plays for us. So very happy there. And then Gaston Farrell continues to move forward. So we got a chance to be really good there. But we still got a little room to improve.
Last question I'll ask you is, we talk about the fumble on the offensive end, so we've got to talk about the fumble recovery on the defensive end. 1 turnover force, so it was an even turnover count between the two teams. But Nate Jackson able to fall on top of that football, and you guys able to pop that one loose. That's got to feel pretty good.
It does, and what feels better is we scored after that.
Yes, sir.
So whenever you get the turnovers and the takeaways, it just put that's the cake, and then whenever your offense is able to take advantage of that and put points on the board, that's the icing on it. So it was a lot of fun. It's a big picture. A lot of people don't understand. You got but did you get turnovers and didn't do nothing with them? We still take them anytime we steal possessions. But the bottom line is, whenever you steal a possession and take advantage of it, that's a potential 14-point swing. I mean, that's the max, but it could be a 10-point swing. It could be, but boy, whenever it happens, it's very fun to watch and very. It put a little smile. You don't see me smile on the sideline a whole lot, but it does. It puts a little inner smile to say, hey, we took advantage of that. Good job, fellas.
Definitely.
Good job.
Yeah. We got one more segment of our show to go here on Inside Tiger Football. We're going to be previewing the Fayetteville game that's still to come. So keep it right here on Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.
To update your kitchen, just for you. Kitchen Tune-Up will make your kitchen look and feel transformed. Let's create a kitchen that inspires and uplifts you. Kitchen Tune-Up. Update, upgrade, uplift.
NBA Tiger fans, now's the time to show your school spirit. Support your favorite school with the Broken Arrow School Pride debit card from TTCU Federal Credit Union. The only card that gives back to Broken Arrow every time you use it.
Since the program began, TTCU has donated over $350,000 to Broken Arrow Public Schools. That's a lot of support from fans just like you.
Whether you're a student, parent, or proud Tiger fan, your everyday purchases can make a difference.
With TTCU, you're not just banking, you're backing your school and local community. Join the thousands of TTCU members who are already using the Broken Arrow card.
It's super simple. Use your BA card and TTCU donates.
Thank you, TTCU, and thank you, Tiger fans. Support our school with every purchase. Go Yay!
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. Another big game on the docket, and head coach Travis Hill, he's no stranger to big games. He knows what he's talking about. Fayetteville Purple Dogs on the schedule. 2023 state champions, 8 wins last year. They got a good record. They know what they're doing over there. How do you prepare for a team that looks so good both on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball?
It is. It's a lot of preparation. What we did, though, I thought our staff did a great job on Saturday simplifying, okay? And because of all the looks, and from my understanding, I've had the opportunity to play over there before, and when we was over at Muskogee, got our tails kicked. So the environment over there, like I said, we said loud last week. It'll be just as loud, if not louder. They do a great job on both sides of the football stressing you. So I thought if that's the case, the simpler we can be, the what? Life's complicated. It gets stressful. If it's not complicated, it's not. So we're trying to keep it as uncomplicated as we can in order to handle those type of things that they do defensively and offensively to make, and in the kicking game too, by the way, to make things uncomfortable for you. So I think we've done a good job with the coach staff for preparation to make that, present that to our kids. Now it's our kids' job to start prepping and making sure that they're ready for that environment too.
We talked earlier about getting to the quarterback, creating pressure, making havoc for him in the backfield, and that's something that you're going to want to do this week.
Yes, and I've seen people, I'm going to probably give a visual, I've seen people this close to him in his face with the ball still in his hand, but the ball still gets out. Yeah. So, I mean, he is special. He's a good football player. Obviously, he gets the ball spread out to a lot of good athletes, and I said spread out. I mean, they'll get fast break offense. So, we will find our times and our opportunities for pressures. We got to be smart with that. When you pressure, there's different ways you play in the back end. And so we got to be pretty intelligent about how we go about it. But our whole objective is always, if we could put this young man, he didn't get any sacks last week. They basically play a scrimmage concept against other people. I mean, when I say scrimmage, a scrimmage is a game concept, the way they do it over in Arkansas. No sacks in either one of those two scrimmages. So, I mean, he's dynamic with what he's trying to do, but I do think there's times and areas that we can pressure him, and maybe not say, hey, we wind up with 3 or 4 sacks, but maybe with that idea of that 5 or 6 hurries or 5 or 6 quarterback hits that help present him some problems and create maybe a turnover in another way with an interception or something in that form or fashion.
You'd said that Springdale Har-Ber, when they picked up the pace, it kind of put you guys on your heels. This team goes even faster. If that team was taxiing, this team is flying, right? So it's a little bit different. So how do you adjust to that speed? How do you prepare for that?
You know, it is on our behalf of making a simplicity of how we're getting our calls in, okay? We as defense, all coaches, I'm going to get on the defense coaches, we want to see everything, and we almost want to be out there, and we forget as a player, we're wanting to get all this information to them, but they're trying to gather their own information, and the other team, here comes the other team, especially when the tempo speed up. And so it was really nothing more than us doing a better job getting information to them quicker and making sure that allows them to be able to process what we're doing quick without having to go as fast, so to speak. So I do think we got that remedy. There's a reason why teams tempo, okay? And it does cause that. But, you know, let me give you some advantages of the defense. When you tempo, okay, you don't check with me calls. Okay, you don't obviously have a lot of motion at times because that's all things that slow it down. You're tempoing for a reason. So so you see a formation, bam, that's what you get. All of a sudden it's not adjusting, and all of a sudden you're in 4 wide, and it winds up with a completely different personnel setting after they shift or something like that. So they don't do a lot of that type of stuff. So that will help. They give you multiple formations, but don't move from those formations once they give. So there's advantages both ways, but we feel like we got it remedied, and the idea is get this information to our kids quicker so that they can process what's going on in the field quicker.
Let's talk offensively. How do you see ways to attack their defense and ways to get some points on the board?
Yeah, I'm going to have to be a little careful here giving out a little information. I don't know when all this is put out. I don't want them here to. But the bottom line is we've done some of the same stuff there. They're very, very, very multiple on defense. And any time from an offensive standpoint, which I've had the pleasure of being an OC or acting like one maybe would be a better word, but I use my defensive concepts even from the offensive side. What can we do to dictate to them and make them do what we want them to do instead of vice versa, okay? So, we're just looking at ways to make sure to make them uncomfortable as far as what we do. So they're very, very athletic on defense, very, very quick and athletic, and, so we just got to be able to try to slow that stuff down a little bit and see if that there helps us.
I think it should be a great game, and it kicks off at 7 p.m. on Friday. Broken Arrow going on the road to play the Fayetteville Purple Dogs in the shadow of the Razorback Stadium. It's right there, isn't it? Just down the street. And so that is something that will be fun to watch, and we'll be looking forward to that. You can tune in live on Arrowvision. The pregame starts at 6:30. The kickoff, of course, at 7. And we'll be looking for another Tiger victory, see if we can go 2-0 to start this season. Inside Tiger Football, we'll see you again next week after the Fayetteville game, and we'll be previewing the Mustang Broncos.